Good evening, folks. It's October 12th. We're at the LTV studio, and I want to thank the guys in the background, Jody, Nauer, and Matt, for putting the show on for us. Tonight, we have Alex Walter and Jeff Miller, and I'm Claude Boudet, the host. Where are we, guys, with the playoffs? What are you thinking?
Not even the boys of summer, we're the adults of summer now.
No, that's questionable. That's okay. What do you think about the playoffs? Or are you, well, even getting into the playoffs? I know both your teams were close. Alex, we'll start with you.
I think it's on TV way too late. I think the kids are all missing a lot of baseball history, and it's really a shame. There's no more transistors in the schoolrooms, but that's only my opinion. As far as the playoffs are concerned, they've been pretty exciting games. The Boston-Tampa Bay series, although Boston won 3-1, I believe, was very, very good. The last two games in particular, and Tampa Bay. I don't know many people on players on Tampa Bay by name, but I do know the one name, Wander Franco. He is going to be a superstar.
The interesting thing about that, they talked about that we can get sidetracked a little bit on two things. That they think they're building the franchise around him. He's not staying around. No. They don't pay what he's going to be worth.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a big test for them because they never have that kind of superior talent. And so they haven't been in a situation. I think Longoria they traded, when he came up for his contract. But this is some.
Let go of the pitchers. Their best pitchers were.
Do you think though now that I started thinking about it just when they got knocked out yesterday, or I thought about it more today, was they've yet to win a World Series. They keep going through this thing, and yes, there's a lot of talent there, and they trade people away. They just have people leave due to lack of salary there. Do you think this system, though, is somewhat flawed as far as throwing a reliever out there and not knowing who's going to go out there, like the guy who ended up giving up the 3-4 runs last night because he probably would have been more suited to start than throw him in the third inning and say, here you go. And, yes, Kevin Cash has been, widely, given a lot of notoriety for it, but it may be a flawed system when it comes down to 5-game series, 3-game series. It just is.
I don't think so. I think that in today's game, the fiscal restraint and being able to develop a team that is more exciting, to be honest with you, than a team that sits back and hits 3-run homers, and if they can't do that, they can't win at all. There's a team like that around that I'm not sure what. I think it's the Yankees. That they made the playoffs, but they look really bad when they don't hit 3-run homers.
And speaking of, he wanted to go pick on my team.
Go on.
I thought it was Gabe Kapler's fault, but guess what?
It's not.
It's not. They've got a bad seed there, and they don't know how to win.
That's true.
We're talking about the Phillies, folks, Alex's favorite team. Just back and forth. But, you brought up the transistor radios, but wasn't it, in 1951, just a couple of days ago, that Bobby Thompson hit the homer? And would your second grade teacher, Miss Thompson, caught you with the transistor radio?
It wasn't in second grade in 1951, but close.
Mrs. Walter still kept them underneath the sheets with the transistor radio.
So, all right. So we get to Phillies were close. The Yankees, I think, it just
very flawed.
What do you think about the one-game playoff? Do you think that they should go and maybe make it 2 out of 3?
Speaking of that, 1951, that was best 2 out of 3, was it not?
Mm-hmm. Right, but there was only the World Series then.
Correct.
So that was to get into the World Series.
Exactly. You only had.
I think myself, they know the stakes of and the importance of winning your division, and that puts even more premium on winning your division because you're down to a 1-game playoff.
Right, and they both had to play. They both had to win. They knew they were going to be I mean, but Toronto was right on their tail too.
Well,
So
so
either
was-
one had lost.
So was the Mariners, and so was the Red
Oakland,
Sox. It could have been a
Oakland
four-game
kind of
playoff.
fell off, but yeah, they could. So I think that you had to play it hard till the end.
Mhm.
It will be interesting. I think the American League is going to be. It'll be very interesting for me with Cora managing against Houston, if Houston gets in from what they.
Interesting.
And it just shows
Very
how
interesting.
valuable Alex Cora is, I think,
Yeah.
when you see what they did this year
Yeah.
with a team that wasn't, all that much different.
Well, Kiki made a big difference.
Yes.
And they did make some good trades, picking up the first baseman. He's been terrific,
Schwarber, yeah.
and they've got some good characters on the
Well,
team.
it's amazing what they've done. I mean, Betts was far and away their best player.
Mhm.
They traded him away, and still it took about 2 years.
Well, they got
and they're-
Alex Verdugo.
And they're back. There's an Alex Verdugo in the East Hampton Fire Department. It's not the same one. I don't
No,
think.
not really. He's not
It's an
signing.
arborist.
He's
Yeah.
not. He's not signing
The tree
autographs
climber.
in front of the IGA.
No. But
right.
I think the Red Sox actually surprised me because I didn't think they were this good.
No, and I'm kind of angry at Sale. He didn't get vaccinated, and he got COVID twice, and 12 guys got COVID
Yeah.
on the team. They dumped their first base coach, Gordon, who didn't get vaccinated, and they just said, "You can't." They got somebody else to do it. I just think it's kind of ridiculous that 12 guys in 1 week were off the roster.
What happened to Sale? Why has he not been effective?
Well, he was go on.
No.
I'm not gonna dictate it.
Do you think he rushed back to be here for
And they
the
pitched him
stretch run?
Well, yeah, and they pitched him against very weak teams. Every time they had a chance where they were playing the Yankees, they held him back, and he started the next series against Baltimore.
The other way on that.
What?
Thought you were going the other way on that. Every time they saw the Yankees, they pitched him.
No,
After you said
because
weak
and then he just maybe it's just maybe the strength. Maybe it's just it's Tommy John is, as we all know, is a really devastating operation. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't know if they'll ever start him again. He was warming up last night. I know you were asleep, but in the but in the ninth he was warming up in case they got to the 10th,
Right.
because a couple lefties were coming up. So and they said they weren't going to use him in that way. But I think they were running out of, they both blew through their bullpens in the last 2 games.
I have to admit, I went to bed in the 8th inning. I couldn't. You were speaking about everything.
Yeah.
8th inning, I was done. I had to look at my phone this morning to see what happened.
I kind of struggled, but they
I
they
stayed
said-
up too late the night before to watch the Bills.
Anyway, in just talking about, in recapping, do you have any predictions about who's going to make it to the series?
Red Sox, Astros in the American League.
Okay, you agree?
I agree with that.
Okay.
National League, I'm going to go Braves, Giants.
It'd be wonderful if the Giants did beat them.
I agree with that also. The Giants, when they get to the playoffs, they win. Okay, they do. They had that streak of every other year.
The year
They were
10,
winning
12,
and they were
14,
winning
yeah.
They don't just get there; they win. How they're doing it, I don't know.
Many years ago, I made the Buster Posey, Derek Jeter analogy. Yes, he's not Derek Jeter, but he just,
There's something there.
there's something about him.
yeah.
He has the intangibles that just,
Well,
he's
hit-
a winner.
You hit it on the head, Gabe Kapler, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Obviously, he's done a really, really good job out there because they weren't in contention last year.
No,
When
and
they
they've
brought
had
him over
several,
last year.
several players this year, Crawford, Posey, Belt, have all had like,
Yeah.
And Yastrzemski.
Yastrzemski though is still young. I mean, it's not, they had these guys that,
Yeah.
have kind of been on the decline, and then this year,
But their pitching staff, and I can't name anybody on their pitching staff.
Even last night, the guy that was
The
used to be.
they've had have they had 2 shutouts in 3 games?
Yeah,
They've
and the
thrown 2
Dodgers
shutouts
hadn't been
that-
shut out all season.
That's a hell of a lineup to shut out.
Our buddy John Goodman is a big Giant fan, and
I'll mention shutouts a little later in the show.
okay, you can do that. Well, we were going to talk about individual awards, but what do you think of the rule changes? And what do you think I didn't know that last night if they went extras, or 2 nights ago, that they went back to the old rule.
Oh, I knew that.
oh yeah,
that-
it's
the
a
other was
regular
ju-
season rule, and that's it.
Yeah, and then how,
They got to get rid. They have to get rid of this man on second base, and I think they did it for, coming out of COVID and not taxing the pitching staffs to go, 13 innings, 14 innings. They have to get rid of that because that's not baseball.
How about doubleheaders?
Doubleheaders go
7-inning doubleheaders?
No, they go. That's 9 innings. We're not playing little league here or high school baseball. 9 innings. These are professionals.
Yeah.
One rule I did like is I like the idea that if you bring a pitcher in, make a pitching change, 3 batters.
3
Wow.
batters.
Yeah.
I like
You
that
know what?
rule. I do
So
too.
because how many times you see one batter, one pitcher, one batter, and again,
Agreed.
and they keep taking these guys out.
And I think
crazy.
your rule, your big love is going away.
My big love
The
is
DH.
going away.
You think the DH is going to be universal?
I hope not.
Is that his big
Yes.
love?
Yeah.
Other
He
than,
he
and then his
he
wife?
loves the pitcher's batting.
Well,
And it
no,
just-
I love baseball, and I love managers having to manage around that.
You want to know what the problem is now? They have these kids in high school who aren't batting, which is, in my opinion, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
well,
these
they have the EH,
Yes,
the
but
extra hitter,
yes,
they call it.
but they
Yeah.
can also, in like a lot of prep programs and everything, the
it's-
pitcher just pitches and that's it. These guys haven't seen a bat since
Huh?
junior high or little league.
Did you see any bunts yet in the
Oh.
playoffs?
Oh, yeah, the
Did
Red Sox the
Must
other
have been
night.
after I went to bed.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was late in the game. That is. How about plate umpires in the strike zone?
Oh no, you can't change that. You can't have a computer do that. You just can't.
You have a
I
strike zone
understand-
and you have Joe West strike zone.
Yeah, but, and you're looking over this shoulder, so you can't call it on this side of the plate.
Is Angel Hernandez humping in the playoffs?
I don't
So
like the idea of a computer calling balls.
Okay.
I don't either because I've seen them. They've shown all the glitches they've had. If you watch a video, they have, and they've had pitches hit the ground and the machine has called it a strike.
Now, would they if they had the computer calling the balls and strikes, would they still have a home plate umpire standing behind the catcher in case there's a play at the plate or something?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you have something
And what
in
else
his ear.
does he do? He just,
Something in his ear.
he
He
just
calls it.
watches all the
They
ones
say
come
strike.
in,
He goes
so-
strike. You know, he's like, no, I've just listen. I'm not taking a side. That's why I
I
asked.
don't want
this.
to
I'm
see
gonna-
that. I don't want to see the DH.
Okay.
I don't want to see any more 7-inning games. And get the man off second base to start the extra.
All right. You know what Tampa's going to do next year is going to play half their games in Tampa and the other half in Montreal.
Is
For
that
their
going to
home.
happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be 40 games up and 41 games up in Montreal.
Well, and the reason
40 games?
and the reason for that is
They're not drawing, and they think they can draw up in Montreal. Like,
well, didn't they have a team in Montreal that didn't draw that they had to move somewhere else? I think so.
yeah, they came to
Yes.
Nationals.
Well, here's
I
what
think they
Tampa
were-
should do.
Tampa doesn't draw in Tampa, so
Well,
what's the matter?
They draw great for the Lightning. They draw great for the Bucks. But those stadiums are in downtown Tampa. This one's in St.
St. Pete.
Petersburg.
Right.
You put a stadium in
And it's
where
not
in
really a
Tampa,
very nice stadium
No, it's
either, is
horrible.
it?
No.
I went in it
Horrible.
once and I was like, oh.
It's horrible.
Maybe for
Yeah.
a rock concert.
If they could build a new stadium downtown Tampa, I think they'd draw like crazy with a
maybe.
good team like that.
Okay. I just was.
My son lives in Tampa.
I knew it'd
so-
been discussed. I didn't know it had been
Yeah.
Yep.
come to fruition.
Really quickly about Dusty Baker and Tony Russo did a pretty nice job with the White Sox. Are you surprised?
No.
I'm not surprised. First of all, he, even with injuries, they had a lot of talent in a pathetic division.
Okay.
Yeah, that division wasn't real good. But he obviously, has the blueprint to be a winning manager. You just got to give him a couple of players, and he'll figure out how to do it.
So one of the White Sox pitchers said that they're still cheating down in Houston. They struck out 14 times in a game in Chicago, and they didn't have the cameras that they have and something like that. And Dusty Baker, gotta love him. He goes, it's like Eric Clapton. Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself.
Yeah.
He goes,
But he also said, we play the White Sox all season. I never heard of this guy.
so true. And it's I'm sure with the mask on, it's tough with the toothpick. So you're trying to move that around. Dusty Baker's been. I just was looking up. He's Giants, Cubs, Reds, Nats, and Astros. He's all gotten them into the playoffs. He's probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Manager.
Very
Never
po-
won
very
it though,
possible.
has he?
No,
As a manager.
no.
Nope.
And they're both pretty old. I mean, they're in their 70s. But
Was
Jack
that
McKeon.
Gene Mark? What?
Oh, jeez. You're killing me now.
Folks, if you don't know, Gene Mark was in the 1964?
1964.
1964, had a big lead. He was, okay, you want to tell the story?
6 games
It's
up
all right.
with 12 to go, and they lost 10 in a row. And
I think more of the Angels is when I think of,
Gene Mark.
well, that's
Yeah.
poor Donnie Moore.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what team
So,
beat him?
can't tell them it's only a game.
Yes, that's true. What do you think of COVID? How'd they handle COVID? What do you think?
Well, I think they did a pretty good job. I don't know that any of the baseball teams got into situations like the Denver Broncos got in last year in football, or some of the teams with fewer players got into. I don't remember any team, losing a game because they just didn't have their best players playing.
Well, some they canceled. They canceled a bunch of games at the beginning of the
In the
year.
beginning of the
Yes,
year,
they did.
The Cardinals had to make up quite a few
Yeah.
Okay.
going down there.
The Red Sox, well, that was last year, wasn't it, that they had to make,
Yeah, I don't
that
think
and the
it was this
Marlins
year.
had to make
I
up
think
games.
there
at
were
the end of
9. I
last
think there were
year.
9 games that were missed, but a lot of them, the Cardinals.
The Red
Cardinals were-
Sox went through a stretch, the Yankees went through a stretch right off the All-Star break.
and they had
that
to play. They did cancel one game with the Yankees-Red Sox
Yes,
because of
as
that.
a matter of
that,
fact.
that one game.
Yeah.
So, all right, individual awards. I know that Alex and I talked a little bit on the phone. He thought 2 Phillies. Do you still feel that they have a chance, or they should be
Harper, yes.
Harper and Zach Wheeler.
Zach Wheeler?
Let me just say a little something about Zach Wheeler, because I don't think he's as popular as Scherzer. And there's a guy from Milwaukee that's
Yeah.
Burns, I think.
Burns would be my choice personally, but
Yes. How about the guy from L.A.?
Walker Buehler.
Urias? No,
Urias,
he's
who won 20 games.
20 and 3.
Yeah. I think that.
Well, let's
yeah.
talk about
Let's
Zach
get Zach
Wheeler
Wheeler,
for a
yeah.
minute, because I did a little research today.
Can you read that? It's pretty.
It's not easy.
Do you want me to hold it
So-
out here for you?
So he led all of baseball this year in innings pitched,
Okay.
complete games, shutouts, batters faced, and pitching small b WAR. Don't ask me what that is. but
Yeah. It's like,
He led all of
Forrest wins
baseball in that.
above replacement.
right.
Yeah, whatever that is, and then led the National League in strikeouts. He was 14 and 10, a little deceiving because the Phillies bullpen blew 34 saves. Now you got to believe that, 4 or 5 of those had to be from Wheeler, because if you divide out your starting pitchers, so that 14 wins could have been 17, 18, the worst bullpen in baseball, by the way. And a good stat is that he was the workhorse of probably the whole National League, because in comparison with Burns, he pitched 400-some pitches in the 7th inning and beyond to Burns's 100 and some. So that's the equivalent of 3 91-pitch games. So I think there's no question that Zach Wheeler is
Wow.
the Cy Young winner.
And you,
Okay, well,
you're going Burns?
I'm going to go Burns, and who says it's Burns' fault? The manager could have very easily managed that way. And I'm going to throw a name at you.
But you
I'm
can
gonna-
only look at the statistics as they were
Correct.
played
He
out.
was 14 and 10, and I know what you said. But what I'm saying is, I'm going to throw a name at you, and you're Nolan Ryan. How many Cy Youngs did Nolan Ryan end up winning?
I don't know. Do you know?
0.
Well, that's a miscarriage of justice, right?
Well, there you go.
Well,
so
that-
Wheeler
that's-
had these great numbers, and
that's the
point out,
writer's fault.
because every year Nolan Ryan innings pitched,
Okay.
strikeouts, but he was burned by the supporting cast that was around him.
Okay, keep your sheet
Now,
out.
let's talk Bryce Harper.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, keep your sheet
So
out for
I don't
Harper.
need any sheet for that. So the only player in baseball that went 300 average, 400 OPS, and 600 in slugging percentage. The only player in all of baseball that did that.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't win the division, but did he have a better year than Tatis, who's probably in consideration?
I think Tatis was in
think so.
consideration till the end of August.
Yeah.
I think it's September. He just
And there was,
kinda fell
I
off the-
forget who the
Soto.
other guy was.
Soto.
For a last place team.
Yeah.
Well, they can make that argument about Ohtani too.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but he was extra. Otana's extra special. He really is. But he's in the American League. Nobody can. So I think Bryce Harper is going to win the MVP.
Wow. All right.
I wouldn't disagree with you on that one.
Oh boy.
All right. I was thinking Soto, but
Well,
you know, you
I
know.
mean, I don't know what kind of numbers he had, but he didn't do 300, 400, 600. And he played for a last place team.
I feel like listening
Yeah,
to you as
but
the guy who explains my IRA to me.
Look at the
it's just-
team.
you
Look
threw
at
all
the
these
team they
numbers.
traded away from him.
Yeah, but no.
What?
Away from Soto.
Soto, yeah. Like it's you know.
Scherzer.
Scherzer.
Korver.
Yeah.
I mean, the team that Trey Turner.
Yeah,
Trey
Trey Turner.
Turner's another guy you've got to have in the argument.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
You could, but it's Harper.
Okay.
It's Harper. I
Jeez,
think.
all right.
So I think it's pretty good the Phillies have both those winners, and I'm getting a little ahead of
Contenders.
myself.
Easy. Contenders.
Well, in my mind, anyway.
American League.
You know, I don't know.
I think it's going to be Guerrero. No, I'm sorry. It's going to be Ohtani just because he's a
Right.
freak of nature. But
Guerrero was pretty
Guerrero had an amazing year. Aaron Judge had a very,
really
very
good year, and he stayed healthy.
And you know, everyone seems to overlook it. Aaron Judge is a above average defender.
Oh no,
he's a stud.
And
look,
you know, Guerrero is a terrible first baseman. He is a great hitter,
Yeah.
but Judge
Yeah.
plays both sides of the ball, and if he's healthy, he is a phenomenal.
Judge is the face of the Yankees now.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with him?
Oh, they got to resign.
They got to resign him. You know,
But
But
the
if they,
fact
that's
that
going
he
to be
stayed
that's
healthy.
a lot of money.
You have.
That's
listen,
a lot of money, and it's
Money talks and male bovine feces walks.
So maybe they
No,
should.
it's
Maybe they shouldn't have given Cole all that money. I don't know.
how about that was the back of the post, the freaking Cole.
I didn't even.
Bucky freaking Dent, and they
Oh, I didn't.
Well,
see it.
they have the Post has a guy who all he does is does
Right headlines.
Right headlines.
That's it.
Yeah,
Um,
and he's really good.
yes.
I think, and this is just my opinion, I'm not making excuses,
Okay.
but I think that hamstring was more prevalent than anybody, or he's
Let's
even
just say he
couldn't
wasn't
say
at full
anything about
speed. He
it.
wasn't
Yeah.
at full health.
I don't know what his numbers were, Judge, but I think his value to the Yankees and to that lineup.
290 something.
290, 39 homers, 90 upper 90 RBIs, but Stanton took a lot of his RBIs too.
How about Stanton against the Red Sox?
When he's,
Blast.
I tell you what, when Stanton is off, he's ugly. When he's on, you don't want to throw anything near him.
When the guy got thrown out at the plate, when Stanton hit it so
Did you see
hard
the look
it
on his
came off
face?
the wall.
Judge
It was
got thrown out. Nevin
yeah,
should have never run him.
Never.
But yeah, the look on Stanton's face was
Stanton
perfect.
in the middle of the year couldn't hit
fall out
outside
of a boat
sliders
and not
with
hit water.
an ironing board. I mean, he was not even close
No.
to any of those. But then you miss on him.
They said you can sit there and watch him, and you can figure out whether when he's not bailing out, when he's staying right on, you know he's seeing everything, and it's don't even bother pitching to him because
I think I heard it hit the wall in my house. That's how hard he hit that ball. That would have been out of just about every stadium.
Oh, it's so amazing. That's the new stat they have now. It had been out in 32.
Yeah.
30 of the 32
It would
parts
have
or
been.
something.
I mean, it was still going up when it hit the wall.
Yeah. No.
yeah, I think the one he hit in the last series in Boston over the light tower
Yeah,
was
over
more impressive.
But I think Ohtani will win the.
Yes, just for the fact that he pitches and catches.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Just
He really slowed down though after the All-Star break.
Well, you know what? He slowed down like everybody who goes into the home run derby slows
Yeah.
down
Okay.
because they swing differently. And I can remember a couple of Phillies who played in that.
Pete
and
Alonso may have slowed down
they-
too.
No, he had 30. He still hit 37.
Yeah,
homers,
but
I
after
think.
the All-Star break,
Yeah.
you know.
So what do you think about the Mets? What do they
What
got?
do you think about the Mets?
I mean, they had the injuries that Syndergaard and DeGrom not pitching really put them in the hole. I mean, like that is just. I mean, Rojas, I don't think made some great decisions.
Pretty dysfunctional
Yeah.
franchise, though. I think overall. Look at the front office. Look what happened there. They get rid of one guy and as a general manager, bring another guy in, and then they're gonna get rid
Sexual
of him.
allegations, the drunk driving.
Yeah.
And,
No, I just-
then they bring in Baez and
Maybe they were
Lindor.
trying to follow the '86 script without
Well,
as much
yeah.
talent.
Lindor and Baez really didn't do themselves any favors with
No,
their
Lindor
antics.
had a good finish, but
No,
he-
but with the antics. with-
Baez had a good finish.
yeah, Yeah, I don't know if it's going to take a lot of money
You can't do that with fans.
to
though.
sign, but yes,
You
can.
just can't do that.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
So Cohen's got the money,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does anybody care about the luxury tax anymore?
It didn't take Epstein long to turn the Mets down.
Wow, that's for sure.
It didn't take him long. They asked him in the morning, and by noon, he said no.
And he's got a really nice job with Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but,
I mean, like,
but here's the thing that a lot of Mets fans, and I think Cohen was counting on, that they're going to bring this guy in.
Yeah.
And, he's going to do his magic, and they're going to win, and he didn't want any part of it.
So getting back to just really quickly about the playoffs, who's going to win it all?
I'm going to say the Giants myself, but
Think they can beat the Astros?
I think it could be the Astros.
I just listened to the game a little bit today, and they just have hitter after hitter that are like, and I guess they're pitching.
Yeah, they know the strike zone really well.
There's I'd say whoever. I hope the Giants come out of the National League.
Well, I think they will. I just think that their money when they get into playoffs, and you can't really explain it.
there's also, you remember, Atlanta was one game away last year.
Right.
And that's some pitching
Well,
staff they
you-
have.
Here's there's something about Atlanta that they lost midway through the season.
Acuna
They're
and-
far and
yeah.
away their best player.
Yeah.
Although you could make a case for Freddie.
Guy
Freeman.
who was probably going to be the MVP, Acuna.
Could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And Freeman's the other guy that's in the
Freeman, I
running.
love-
Is in the running for MVP. of the
And the
National
guys
League.
they brought in,
It was
oh my
last year.
God.
Yeah.
That really just set that team on fire.
Yeah.
So all right, it's going to be
I
pretty
think it's a
even.
crapshoot.
I don't think the Red Sox. I think they've kind of.
I wouldn't bet against them.
I know, but to me, it's just been so unexpected, and I'm feeling that they've gone this far. That's terrific, and I'm okay with it. I think Tampa got a little cocky, but they handled it. I mean, Kiermaier really handled it well, saying, we got to be proud of what we did this year.
Maybe he needed to get the card from the Red Sox.
What? Did you ever see a play like that ground rule double?
No.
Anybody ever seen a play
I don't think
like
anybody
that?
had.
I mean-
We got 20 seconds left.
It was incredible, and the umpires they
knew it right
got the
away.
call. They
They
got
knew-
the call right, but maybe they ought to change that because
They will. I think
you
they
got to give the umpires some discretion there because that guy
Yeah.
was around third base
Yeah.
as the throw was coming in.
Okay, hey guys, thank you. It's
You're
really
welcome.
nice.
Thank you, Claude.
It's been not till 2020 we were
gentlemen.
here. Gentlemen, boy, it's a long time since somebody called me that. Thanks again.